Panic is ensuing all over the timeline and throughout this entire market, and now we are starting to see fear really kind of picking up. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. If we take a look at the market, Bitcoin is below $60,000 again. Now, we were hoping for 60K to hold. Listen, this entire game that we're basically playing right now is we want to see support form on significant levels. $60,185 is the key. We are going to address that. We're going to talk about it. Overall, top gainers right now, not much green. Even if we go over to the top gainers in the top 100, it's two altcoins that are green, and it's barely by, a little bit, 4.41% and 0.28%. Top 500, there is still some meme coins doing pretty good. So it's not like, hey, everything is decimated, but for the most part, this market is pretty dead right now. And it is because, of course, Bitcoin's selling off in a large way, and even Ethereum selling off in a pretty big way. Now, why is everything selling off? Well, it's because of the Mt. Gox situation. Every single mainstream media, website is pushing this. Even CNBC is technically pushing this. We have collapsed Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox is about to unload $9 billion of coins onto the market. Here's what it means. Let's be honest, it's very easy to take positions in crypto, but it's extremely hard to actually have a game plan in place when the time comes to take profits. And that's exactly why I released a completely free exit plan that you can apply to literally every single position that you take in crypto. And the best part about it is that it's completely free. All you have to do to get access is go to the link down in the description below and claim your access now. What are you waiting for? Capture those profits. Guys, when we look at Bitcoin, it has roughly a $1.2 trillion market cap. We're talking about $9 billion. Obviously, yes, will this cause some panic? Sure. But everyone is blowing this out of proportion. And we even have over here, First Mover America's Bitcoin falls to 60K as Mt. Gox overhang looms. It didn't even start selling off. The news didn't even hit yet. And we even have here, what pushed Bitcoin price below 60K? Charts point at potential Mt. Gox repayment. It's a potential repayment. It didn't even officially begin. And over here from investing.com, Bitcoin price today slides to 60K amid Mt. Gox dumping fears. Again, it's just comical to me that we have retail panicking at a time where we really haven't seen much, downward price action. Obviously, yes, Bitcoin has fallen from 73K down to like 56K, but that was over a 3-month time frame. Here we have Bitcoin Mt. Gox creditors will soon benefit from $9 billion payback. Their Bitcoin is over 10,000% more valuable than when it went missing. So again, everyone's expecting this to completely sell off. Now, one thing that I will say is yesterday I made a video regarding how the Federal Reserve is about to pump the crypto market. Now we're going to still focus on that because yes, technically that is still true. But listen to what I said here in the beginning of this video regarding Bitcoin. What are we waiting for? Well, this is Bitcoin. Now I ask all of you out there, and I'm not expecting this, I'm just saying that it's a possibility. Would you be able to stomach Bitcoin continuing to, be stale for a couple more days? Don't focus on the timeline here because I'm just kind of showing you guys a path that could potentially happen on Bitcoin. But basically, we lost the 62.5K level today. We actually closed under 62.5K. We closed right around $62,000 on the daily. And this made us sell off, right? And currently, as we look at Bitcoin, it's under 61K. It's like right around 61K. The thing that I'm watching for is a daily candle close under $60,185. If we close under the 786, that's where we need to watch closely. The path here is in lower time frames, meaning this would basically be like the hourly or even the 4-hour chart that we would basically be selling off down here, trailing a little bit, and then having an impulsive move back above the 786, closing over it on the daily. But the question is, are we about to have a major move in the market by the Fed? because so that was the overall consensus, right? That we were going to come down here, ranged a little bit around 59, 58K. And guess what we got today? We got Bitcoin selling off in a very large way. And this is what Bitcoin looks like right now. Again, here's the video. Here's Bitcoin now. So once we lost the 786, which we did close right around it slightly, nothing too crazy. We still closed right above it. We still continued to sell off. Now we wicked all the way down here to about roughly 57,876. One thing that I would like to see us hold and maintain is this area here. I don't want to see us create a lower low on the daily. So I would love to see us hold above $58,253. Again, daily closes. I know that we wicked below it. We want a close above it. But I would like for us to maintain this uptrend that we've started to kind of form from the candle on June 24th, going all the way back to May 1st. So here is where we would most likely have a little bit of a range set up before we have a move to the upside and close above the 786. Now, just for reference, this is the 4-hour and what the 4-hour looks like. So after selling off under the 786, we tried to regain momentum above it, as you guys do see in this candle here, but we rejected resistance yet again. Again, selling off in a large way. Now, one thing that I will mention here on the daily that a lot of people are just not really kind of looking at, or maybe they are, I don't know. I don't really pay attention too much to what other people are saying in this market, but one thing that I will say is bullish divergence is printing out on this chart until we actually lose this level from June 24th on the RSI. So although the price action is going down, RSI still has been trailing to the upside. And now we're just waiting for a much larger move on Bitcoin. But the question here is, are we going to continue to sell off? Because if we actually look at the stock RSI, well, we have this top back here in the beginning of June, which is what allowed us to sell off from that point on. And I even have a better chart over here to really kind of analyze that. So here we have the stock RSI. Every single time that we were up here, we did sell off in a large way. Now, do we need to continue to sell off here? No, we could basically just chop in this area, right? While stock RSI resets down here, bruise a little bit while the price starts to kind of gain momentum. And then we could have this really kind of surge to the upside, allowing the price to actually surge a little bit higher. But for the most part, guys, one thing that I want to really stress here is what Bitcoin has done in the last couple, months. I mean, look at this Bitcoin chart here. When we really look at this, the reason why I've always said that the 786 is what I'm watching for is because look at what the 786 essentially is here on the weekly. Look at how many weekly candles we've had where we closed above it. Closing below the 786 on the weekly, which is the big focus from my end, because although, yes, the daily matters, the weekly is more important. The reason why this area is so crucial to me is because it's also the major resistance levels going all the way back here to 2021 in the April timeframe. Again, yes, we have this all-time high here in November. This is where all of that resistance is. We want this to remain as support. We want to actually build a floor here, allowing us to have that next major impulsive move to the upside. If we start to lose the 786, and if we actually lose it on the weekly, it would be very, very alarming. I'm just going to say that now, because the next area of significant demand, or a gap that we need to actually fill, is right around the 50,000 to 53K level. This would absolutely decimate altcoins. Now, I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting us to have that massive sell-off. The number one thing that I'm really kind of looking at here on the weekly is also how flatlined the stock RSI is. Yes, we're still looking at RSI, but RSI is about to cool off into an area that we saw back in August and September as well. While the stock RSI is, massively oversold into these areas that we were at around September. So right now, I wouldn't mind us actually having a little bit of a range form. Again, I ultimately want us to form that range above the 786, just like we have on this chart right here, right? Like this is the path that I want to see on Bitcoin, but we should have an impulsive move happen very soon. Now, the number one thing about the Fed thing, about how the Fed is going to pump the markets, we're still looking at this as a possibility. Guys, I said if history rhymes, then we shouldn't lose 60K. It wasn't me saying, hey, we're not going to lose 60K. No, I said, if we are going to actually repeat this pattern, we shouldn't lose 60K. But one thing that I really want to address is the fact that we did slightly lose 20K, but it was only for a little bit of time, and we ended up closing over it on the weekly. Here we actually have the candle of the Fed injection of liquidity, and it was like right around 19.5K. It wasn't a substantial loss because you could see how quick. I just want to go to the 4 hour here and really kind of go back to the March timeframe to kind of show you guys this quick. So as we really look here, it did not last long, and it was extremely oversold around this time frame, and we immediately bounced back. Almost all closes, even on the lower time frames, were right around $20,000. So that's what we were expecting to happen here as well on Bitcoin, around $60,000. Again, did we get there? Did we get that close yet? I mean, ultimately speaking, as we really look at Bitcoin, it's still trailing right around 59K. We didn't really see a substantial loss of 60K, although yes, we did wick down to like almost 58K. We still have to watch for the candle closes, because just like that time frame, we slightly lost 20K. But after that, we never saw $20,000 again. And in fact, we actually never really saw, a significant wick down like we did see back in March. So as we really look at Bitcoin now, currently, even with the Fed injection, we did see that happen, and we still had a bearish move in the market. It caused panic, and now we're seeing the same exact thing, except, Bitcoin's barely down. I mean, if we go back here to this time frame and we look at this move to the downside, it was 22.39%. If we look at the top candle in March to where we wicked down, this was 23.32%. If we go to the candle that we recently just wicked down to, it's 22.18%. We are right around the same exact percentage that we wicked down to back in March now currently. And again, this is liquidity. This is liquidity flowing into the markets. This is providing more fuel behind the moves. And we could actually look at liquidity as well on this chart if you guys did want to check that out. And here you guys have it. Again, we're waiting for liquidity to be injected because for the longest time, liquidity has been dying out since back in the middle of April. Now, beyond that, right, like I've talked about the panic in this market. I talked about how this market feeds on emotions. I said we are at the point in this market where the majority are probably wishing they sold months ago. You might even have many wanting to sell now to limit the downside potential. This is what the market does right before we make the weak hands buy higher. Markets feed on emotions. Red equals bad, green equals good. We are programmed to reflect colors and numbers with good or bad. You need to program your thought process to think the opposite and have discipline to have zero emotions. Winning in this market is not easy, and anyone who told you it is are lying. Now, outside of this, we have a lot of people asking if we are in a bear market. Here's some comments that I saw today regarding Credible Crypto's charts. We have Cred is this the beginning of the next bear? Any chance? I don't see how market sentiment could possibly change. Too many people calling for $72,000 as the top. Credible Crypto, I'm so stupid for not selling my H-bar. A lot of people are like this. We have here Zoom Out and Chill Fam. We're ranging after a $30,000 plus move to the upside. This is bull territory on higher time frames. Make no mistake about it. And here we actually have the March time frame back in 2023, like I just showed you, being highlighted. And here we have the same exact area being highlighted because we're in that same chop zone. This is just like March all over again. Again, let's go back to the March timeframe. Here we have it, right? Look at liquidity. Liquidity was pretty much dead during this entire time frame up until roughly November. Then we start to see liquidity improving greatly, and we're still waiting for liquidity to improve. I do think that this next big move will essentially have liquidity behind it, which is going to even push it higher. But beyond that, we also have over here, we could go to 58 and then 55 and then 50 and then 40. Dude, you are about to learn a harsh lesson. The crypto rug pull, 74K was the top. Meme coin weakness was the canary in the coal mine. See you at 20K. We have, what do you think, guys? 20K income, because a lot of these people are just insane when they're calling for these, crazy moves in the market. Even more recently, I had somebody say like 90% of alts are down 65 to 85% in months. Bear market came early. Like, I don't get retail sentiment. I don't understand it. It never ceases to amaze me on just how the sentiment, if you just focus on the sentiment alone, you could basically win in this market. every single time. We have the bear market is here already. Damn, guys, I guess we need to wrap it up. The retail sentiment is not surprising anymore. This is the number one reason why the majority missed out on buying close to the bottom. Retail always expects the worst to come at the bottom and the best to come at the top. As I have said numerous times, the bottom will never feel like the bottom and the top will never feel like the top. Even as we look at the altcoin market, although yeah, it's selling off, we're right on par with the overall trend line going all the way back to November of 2023. Even if we look at others, this chart is probably one of the most telling charts out there. Look at this thing. Let me remove all of these indicators. Let's just clean it up a little bit, right? We are on a macro trend line. We are fine here. There is nothing to be concerned about, in my opinion, until we have a move below this and a daily candle close below this trend line. That's what would cause me to be a little bit fearful in the short term. But until then, we're still looking very good on the weekly timeframes on both the others' dominance and even on the others' market cap. These charts are not telling us that we're in a bear market yet. When I flip bearish, you'll know. I will tell you guys. But for now, there's no reason to be panicking, especially when Bitcoin looks like this after having such a massive move to the upside. I mean, you're talking about roughly a 377% move. Even if we're going back to the recent, drop back in roughly January, it's up 91%. From this area here, it's up well over, 45%. So a correction and a range to form is extremely healthy. I am not too concerned here. I'm watching the daily candle closes more than ever before. And I'm also watching the weekly candle closes extremely close, because we could very well be witnessing something very interesting here on Bitcoin, where we have a bottom form in a downtrend while RSI is going to the upside. So what we want to see here is RSI, because RSI is doing this. We want to see RSI go crazy to the upside while Bitcoin is, just kind of chopping here. And it seems as though it's like a never-ending chop until Bitcoin follows RSI. And if we actually look at RSI, look at what RSI is doing while Bitcoin is trailing to the downside. We already have that range forming on the RSI. We're just waiting for a major impulse move to the upside. Again, bullish divergence is playing out right now on Bitcoin, believe it or not. I know that it doesn't seem like it because, again, we're just bleeding out, but I do believe that we are close to that bottom because of what we are seeing everywhere being pushed regarding Mt. Gox. Like, this is fear-mongering. It's an event that everyone has been waiting for, and, they've been fearing it, and it's being, pushed now. The narrative is being pushed around it, and it's causing a lot of fear. It's causing a lot of panic, and that's exactly why the market is still reacting heavily to this. But we were prepared either way for this. Obviously, yes, is my call around a sub 60K level, out of the window? Sure, it technically is. But remember, even back during the first major area where Fed liquidity got injected into the market, we slightly lost 20K. Everyone was calling for $15,000 again, and then we went absolutely parabolic. I feel like the market is at those same exact fearful levels. In fact, I actually think that's worse. It kind of feels like, FTX, or even worse, it feels like 2020. And I know what is waiting for us around the corner. Obviously, in this time frame where we're just kind of chopping, waiting for a big move, everyone is going to think that they're going to think the worst. Bear market, no Altseason, market's topped, X, Y, and Z. In my opinion, we are about to wake up in a large way. We'll have to watch, wait, and see. I think that this weekly candle close is going to be very telling. We still have the ETH ETF narrative, but guess what? Guess what's overshadowing it? Mt. Gox. Everyone is focused on this right now at a time where I think that they should be looking beyond just the FUD headlines and the fearful headlines. Focus on the big news behind the bearish news, which is, again, ETH ETFs could very well be approved within the first week or possibly even 2 weeks of July. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.